Hello everyone and welcome to day 5, the final day this week of Payday 3 news updates courtesy of the official Starbreeze streams that Almir's been hosting with different members of the Starbreeze team. We're going to get into today's notes. There's not quite as much to do today to talk through, but there are some very interesting things, including a direct response to yesterday's video. So that's always cool to hear. It's nice to see them respond to big issues that the community are bringing up with them. But before we get into it, I do want to announce one thing very quickly. I will not be live tonight or tomorrow. I'm having a bit of time off this weekend, but I am releasing a new video tomorrow at 7 PM UK time, which is in about 24 hours from now, just over. And that is the interview with Gustavo Cuchimio, Payday 3's composer. It's nearly an hour and a half long, features a ton of audience questions, and it really is a fantastic interview. I've put hours and hours into editing this to make it sound as good as it could. Because let's face it, it's the music guy, it needs to sound good, obviously. But it will be going out on YouTube as well as audio platforms, on Spotify, etc. via the Redcast. A link to that is in the description if you don't already know about the audio versions of my interviews. But I just thought I'd mention that so you guys all know. So, enough plugging. Let's get into the news. So today it was Almir and Andreas again, Andreas being Payday 3's lead producer. He was present on both Monday and Wednesday streams, and he was back today to talk more Payday 3 with everyone. They start off by saying the maintenance periods this week are now done and the servers will continue to be monitored. Andreas has said that post-maintenance the servers are looking much healthier, and he also refers to the temporary user cap for matchmaking that he talked about on Wednesday, and the fact that the ceiling now for the amount of players that can get in is high, and they aim to keep increasing it so more and more people can get in at peak times. They've increased it 2 to 3 times already. I mean, I think he said 2 times last time, so I'm assuming they've increased it since, so it must be at least 3. He said, quote, everything is moving in the right direction. Good to hear. Almir then immediately jumped straight into talking about the video I made yesterday, because if you didn't see yesterday's news video, I pointed out that Almir noted battle passes were not confirmed, but that more details on the post-launch campaign will be shared later down the line, and I pointed out that being on the fence about something as vital as that for post-launch content was not a good move. He's come out and said, thanks for pointing out, they're not happening. So battle passes are not in the works, and long may that continue. Very, very, very glad to hear it. The next stream is confirmed 9 PM CEST on Tuesday next week. Don't know why the date isn't in there, but I'll talk more about that later. The next stream is going to be later in the evening and on Tuesday so that the Americans can see it. So they're trying to try different stream time, basically. But I'll talk about that at the end of the video. Andreas then reinforces that the first patch is on October 5th with 200 plus bugs being fixed. He's listed some, but there'll be a more detailed patch notes list, obviously, when the update comes out. And he reiterated the list, but I don't need to go through it again here. You can go watch day 3's video. It pretty much opens up with that patch notes list if you are interested to see some of the things he picked out. It was about 15 to 20 bug fixes that he wants to focus on particularly. But he did note a new one that he didn't mention on Wednesday, which is something, ironically, I was pinged about on Twitter a couple of hours ago, which is payout problems. Someone on, I think, Reddit has spotted where basically when you finish a heist, sometimes getting one bag versus getting all the bags barely changes your pay. It's like a few $1,000s. Andreas has confirmed that it is a back-end issue, and they are looking at it, and it should hopefully be fixed in October 5th's patch. They're also seeing a lot of critique now about the progression. They're starting to get, I think, a bit more serious about this, and they've said they're discussing internally what they're going to do about it, but they're not going to give us any more information until they've had those internal discussions, because they're looking at options and they want to decide what the best move is first. But they will tell us what's coming before it comes. They won't just jump progression changes on us. They'll tell us what's coming so the community have a chance to give feedback before the update comes out. Whether that'll change anything, I don't know, but at least they're going to keep us informed. That matters. On top of that, we then had mention of no comically large utensils being currently planned, just as well, because I can barely say utensils, and also another jacket mention. It's just a tradition at this point, let's get used to it. Then the next thing was Quick Play, which Andreas notes was in the beta, but they found a bunch of critical issues pre-launch, but they will aim to fix those bugs and re-release it, and that we should expect it for, quote, one of the upcoming patches. So maybe tail end of October, possibly? Who knows? But it sounds like a similar issue to mouse and keyboard on console, something that was in the beta and is getting fixed and touched up to be as perfect as it can be before it comes to the full game. There was a lot of mention in the chat about a 99 boxes glitch, though. Now, I am not actually aware of this, and I would ask you guys in the comments to clarify if it isn't the issue that Andreas picked up on. He presumed it was about payments, so one bag being very similar to all bags, and so that will hopefully be fixed on October 5th's patch. But I don't know if that actually was the box glitch. I haven't seen anyone else talking about it in the chat. After that, I couldn't keep up because I was trying to take notes. So if anyone in the comments can let me know, what is the 99 boxes glitch? Is it payment? Is it something else? Please do inform me, and I'll see if I can pass on feedback to them if they need it, if there is anything else they need to know. On top of that, no President masks have been confirmed currently, but Andreas, then did follow up with the most exciting statement, I think, of the stream, which is to expect more heist content this year. Obviously, not to miss the forest for the trees, we should have really expected that to be happening anyway, but it's just nice to hear. You know, it's nice to know that heist content is coming, and if anyone wants my predictions, I would expect DLC and free. We know that DLC 1, the Syntax Era DLC, which is ironic given the server issues, is over winter 2023 going into 2024. Typically, the winter months are December, January, February, so maybe they don't kick off DLC stuff till December. I find that hard to believe. They'll probably kick it up in November at a guess. However, I think in the meantime, we could probably expect 1 or 2 free heists, or at least 1. 2 might be a bit much, but I would like to see a free heist get added first, because in Payday 2, 1 month after release, we saw the Diamond Store get added for free. I'd like to see that happen again for Payday 3, a free heist get added before any DLC kicks up. That'd be cool. After that, though, they then confirmed they are working on Steam trading cards, and that improvements to the main menu will come over time in the high selection menu. So they're just talking about some of that stuff. So I think it was mainly high selection menu rather than main menu, but who knows? Maybe they'll touch up the main menu as well. I don't really know for sure. Andreas then says that at least for year 1, the goal is to keep the more menacing and serious, grounded tone for Payday 3. He said further than that, they don't intend to change the tone up, but they might do if the community really asks for it. So things might get goofier if the crowd asks for it. Again, my personal thought, I really like the tone as it is. I don't want to see it change too much. I really would prefer to not see people walking around with giant comically large spoons and all sorts of stuff like that. But I realise I'm just one voice of the community, and if the vaster community wants that to happen, fair enough. I will bow to the overall opinion. But for me personally, I like the tone. I don't want it to change, but whatever. Call me a serious person if you want. It's very rare that people do that with how nerdy I am. I mean, I've got a flipping lightsaber collection, for goodness sake, but I like serious tones sometimes, and in Payday 3, I think it works. On top of that, then, they talked about stealth-only heists, and Andreas noted that while Road Rage is an exception in launch of Payday 3, their intention for all future heists will be to make sure they are hybrid in order to cater to both playstyles. But he has said, we'll see what you guys want, so maybe they'll change it up and do a loud-only or a stealth-only if people ask. But their plan is to do what 7 of the 8 heists in Payday 3 at launch did, and what every single heist in Payday 2's Revival era did, where you can do it stealth or loud. I'm happy with that, as long as the objectives do feel a bit different, because in some heists they don't. In the art gallery, I think it's hard to create louder objectives for that, because really, whether you do it stealth or loud, the objectives are very similar. But as long as, for the most part, the heist objectives do feel different between the two, I think that'd be nice, just so you're doing different things. It feels like it's a unique experience, whether you go stealth or go loud. Moving on from there, though, they said C-stacks being exchanged for money, as well as new items to buy C-stacks with, are down to the design team. They didn't confirm any changes to C-stacks, but said the design team could change anything with regards to that anywhere down the line. They also said a loud stealth indicator in matchmaking is something that they're working on. They want to add it in. Andreas noted that that was something that should be in there, so knowing if you're getting into a loud or stealth lobby, so that will hopefully get added later down the line. And they then acknowledge that there's not been much concrete confirmation in the stream, so this is more of an overall thing for the week, I would assume. But they do explain that that's because they have been so focused on the servers that they wanted to finish that first before they got too focused on anything else. And honestly, you can't say fairer than that. Now the servers are beginning to tidy up, though, and beginning to look better. I know obviously they're still monitoring it, and nothing's perfect yet, because they still have the artificial cap in place. I think hopefully within the next week or so they'll start to look at more game specific issues and start moving their focus, because I think the servers are beginning to hold, fingers crossed, and it's been nearly 72 hours without a problem. I think that's a good sign. So hopefully we'll see some progress very, very soon, and some more updates on actual concrete confirmation as to what they're doing in future patches. Moving on, though, we've only got this tail half of this page to look at, and we start off with Andreas asking about a disable aim assist option on Xbox, or reading out a question, I should say. Someone said, can we have a disable aim assist option on Xbox? And Andreas said, if they were going to do that, it would have to be for both consoles for the sake of parity. Glad that he put that in. But he does think it might be a good idea to have that option toggleable on and off, and said that they'll see what they can do. They also said that being able to toggle story videos not working long term will be something that'll be addressed, so you go into the high selection and you can turn the story videos off in the screen, but if you go back in again, they show up again. So they want the toggle to be permanent, and they'll look at that later down the line as well. There's also something about no pandas. It was a reference to World of Warcraft. That kind of went over my head, but it's in the notes for some reason. I probably should have taken that out. But either way, upgrades to Silver and Gold Edition were also mentioned again today by Almir. Now, to be confirmed here with the information to actually line up everything, you can only upgrade from the base game to Silver or Gold right now via Xbox. You can't do it on PlayStation, you can't do it on Steam, you can't do it on Epic Games Store. They have said that we'll see if it can happen for the platforms, but right now it's just for Xbox. If I had to take a guess, I'd wager that's probably because it's the only platform with a free option to play the game if you have Game Pass. So much like with Starfield, you could play Starfield for free, but you could buy the Premium Edition upgrade if you want to play early. You can buy the upgrade separately as Game Pass owners, and it makes it a bit more flexible and allows you to still spend some money as a Game Pass owner, which for gaming companies is what you want, realistically. But hopefully other platforms will get it too, because that flexibility of being able to buy different upgrades would be very good for the consumer. At least, it makes sense for it to be. Anyway, moving on, more live action trailers happening is something that Almir said we'll see what the future holds in response to. So he noted that Follow the Money took a lot of money and time to make, but maybe they'll do more down the line and we'll just see where it goes. I mean, it seems like a safe assumption, hopefully, because people rave over them. So, fingers crossed. He also said that anything that isn't working as intended is something that we're looking into. Infamous rewards issues. Some people have had problems with the Infamous rewards not loading in Payday 3. I've had had quite a few people in my Twitch chat saying that, and they've gone, right, if anything in the game is not working as intended, believe us, we're looking into it. Unless, of course, they're not being informed, so please do keep updating them on any bugs and issues that you find in the game, because the chances are they might be looking at it, but it's always best to be sure, just in case they didn't already know. Moving on from that, Andreas says that weapon inspecting is being discussed, but it isn't a high priority, and then he also, after that, teases the animation team are busy working on more important things. What could those be? We don't know. Hopefully it's bag losing animations. I know I'm a big champion of those, but you never know. They're also looking to put together an official modding policy, but note that they do love the modding community and the 50k mods that Payday 2 received, so expect some modding news at some point. No time frame was given, so I don't know that. They also then talked about lasers and flashlights that could be added for your guns, but Almir said nothing is confirmed as of now. Kraus, actually in the chat, one of the Starbreeze partners, mentioned about big oil. He made a joke about if you get the engine wrong, the planet explodes, and he laughed at it, and Almir went, but bringing back big oil? No. Much like H2H3, it's a very rare case where Almir actually said no to a suggestion, and I just thought it was funny because he pointed out it was one of his least favourite heists, so there's a bit of Almir lore for the beard lovers in the audience, so I thought that was quite interesting. Moving on though, no new info regarding offline mode was released. They still just say it's on the table. No development efforts have been made, so hopefully that changes soon. Body bags returning are unconfirmed, and I hope they stay that way, because the whole point, surely, of moving the bodies was to circumvent the need for body bags, much like infinite cable ties. I don't see why you'd want body bags back. It makes stealth much easier not to have them and just move bodies around, but either way, Andreas also wants to improve in-game feedback regarding secured loot, much like what we said on Wednesday, when the bags put in the van, they don't pop up saying loot secured, and they're looking into that. I did send a message, by the way, passing on the feedback, because a lot of you in the comment section said you really like the idea of the GT Online take system in the corner, so it popping up with the total that you could turn on and off in your HUD. He said, I'll keep that in mind, thank you, but we're feedbacking a lot of UI changes right now. It's just one thing in theory. I think it could be really cool to get a take option if you don't get the loot secure thing popping up on screen, but who knows? We'll see what they do down the line. Finishing off the last few points, mouse and keyboard not working on console has not yet been fixed, and therefore I think it's safe to assume it won't be in the October 5th patch. Almir then said regarding holiday events, we'll get back to you on those, which again plays into his whole winky face attitude regarding Halloween and presumably Christmas, so expect stuff, I would say. It's fair to assume. Crime Rate for Payday 3 is not confirmed as of now, so that kind of matchmaking system, and they're also looking at people who have been matchmaking into empty lobbies and attempting to fix that problem. That's all the patch notes for today, or stream notes, for I should say, not patch notes, but I may as well call them patch notes really from the way they're written. But I thought it was important to mention that the next stream will not be on Monday. They're going away from the daily thing, it would seem. The next one's going to be on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Swedish time, Central European Summer Time, which is 8 p.m. UK time. You can change time zones from there, 8 p.m. BST, 9 p.m. CEST. They've said they want to do a later one so heisters across the globe, in other words, America, are able to pick up the stream, and Almir and Andreas will both be in attendance again. So that stream will be later in the evening. I might react to it live on stream and then make a video. I don't know, we'll see. So feel free to follow me over my Twitch, twitch.tv/RedArcherLive. But that will wrap up today's video, breaking down all the patch notes. So thank you all very much for watching. As always, I will see you all tomorrow for the interview with Gustavo Cuchimio, and next week for more Payday 3 content. As things begin to settle with the servers and the issues begin to subside at least a little bit, I think it'll be nice to start to focus on more gameplay-specific content. So if you want to see anything specific with builds, gameplay of certain heists, stealth runs, whatever it may be, now's the time to let me know in the comments section, and I'll maybe do some kind of priority list to what you guys most want to see first. Thank you all for watching. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you all tomorrow for the interview and back next week for more content. Look after yourselves, stay safe, and I will see you all very soon.